Our cities are full of majestic monuments, stunning sculptures, and artistic statues, each with their own story to tell. Today we'll be taking a look at 10 of the most amazing sculptures from around the world. Number 10. The Headington Shark. No, this is not a scene from the latest Sharknado movie. This 400-pound, 25-foot shark was designed by sculptor John Buckley in 1986. This sculpture was first erected on the 41st anniversary of the dropping of the atomic bomb on Nagasaki. It is said to be making a statement about nuclear power, Chernobyl, and the campaign for nuclear disarmament. There was much controversy about the shark when it first appeared. The Oxford City Council wasn't having it, and tried to have it taken down on the grounds of safety, and later on the grounds that it did not have proper planning permission. They even offered to host it at a local swimming pool instead. Surprisingly, there was much local support for the shark, and eventually the matter was taken to the central government, who ruled that the shark would be allowed to remain as it didn't result in any harm to the visual amenity. Now imagine coming home from work one day and finding a huge shark sticking out of your neighbor's roof. Does anyone have the number for animal control? Number 9. The Black Ghost. Klaipeda has many interesting statues all around town, but there's one down by the marina which is rather peculiar and creepy. This spooky sculpture really gets people talking, and is very popular with tourists as well. Legend has it that in 1595, a guard from the Klaipeda castle saw a ghost creep out of the water to warn him that the town's grain and timber stock was at risk of running low. The mystical figure vanished, but the city had been warned and could take action before it was too late. Later, the legend known as the Black Ghost was immortalized in this bronze sculpture. Number 8. Maman was created by French-American artist Louise Bourgois in 1999. This giant sculpture is 30 feet tall and 33 feet wide, making it one of the largest spider sculptures ever created. The original sculpture was created in steel. Later on, 6 more sculptures were made in bronze. The spider has been showcased on tour at over 23 locations around the world. It can also be seen at their permanent locations in the United Kingdom, Canada, Spain, Japan, South Korea, United States, and Qatar. If you happen to be one that suffers from arachnophobia, then this sculpture has the potential to give you some serious nightmares. The image of a multi-story high spider snatching up human beings isn't anything new. In fact, it's been done many times before, and for good reason. After all, spiders are the king of creepy. But don't worry, this spider's belly wasn't meant for holding captive human beings. If you look carefully, you'll see the basket is actually full of giant spider eggs, but in this case, it happens to be 32 eggs made of marble. It's not surprising that most people don't like spiders, but the creator of Maman actually had very amicable feelings towards the arachnids. You see, Maman is the familiar French word for mum or mummy, and the spider is meant to be an ode to her mother, who she was very fond of. She said that spiders are very clever, just like her mother, and she thinks of spiders as friendly presences since they help get rid of unwanted insects like disease-spreading mosquitoes. Number 7. This unique sculpture in Old Town Prague depicts famous psychoanalyst Sigmund Freud hanging by one hand and pondering whether to hold on or to let go. It's a surprising and eye-catching, if not alarming, image in an otherwise sublime urban area. Sigmund Freud was born in Freiburg, which is now part of the Czech Republic. Even during the most prolific times of his career, Freud suffered from a number of phobias, including the fear of his own death. Artist David Kearney created this 7-foot-tall sculpture in 1996. It is made of bronze-colored fiberglass and depicts Freud in this way to signify his own constant struggle with his fear of death. Other interpretations suggest that the artist was personally challenging the status quo. Often mistaken as a suicide attempt, the sculpture has prompted calls to the fire and police station on numerous occasions. The sculpture became so popular that it was later exhibited in multiple destinations around the world. Number 6. You wouldn't want to accidentally bump into this enormous sculpture, for it doesn't only look sharp, it is sharp. Dromeas, also known as the runner, is made up of individual sheets of glass, stacked atop of each other to take the blurred shape of a runner in motion. Thousands of sharp, jagged pieces of glass form this sculpture. The running figure is the work of Kostas Varatsis, who began working on it in 1988, but didn't finish until 1994. It was originally erected at Amania Square, but it was later moved because people grew concerned that construction and vibrations from the underground metro would cause it to shatter or even topple. The runner can now be seen standing opposite of the Hilton Hotel in Athens. It's a fitting sculpture within a city with so much running history. Athens was, after all, the final destination of Phidippides' famous run from the Battle of Marathon. Unfortunately, the artwork wasn't met with unanimous appeal. Though most heralded the innovative sculpture, others were less than pleased with its unusual appearance. I guess the old saying rings true: beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Number 5. At a busy intersection just outside the historic center of Wrocław stands an unusual collection of sculptures. These look like statues of ordinary people going about their daily business. But something isn't right with the picture. On one side of the street, people are sinking into the pavement, while across the street, another group is rising out of the sidewalk. This artwork is called Przejście, which translates as passage or transition, and is also known in English as the anonymous Pedestrians. These 14 figures were crafted by Polish artist Jerry Kalina in December of 2005. In addition to being a fascinating piece of public art, it's significant to Wrocław because it marks the 24th anniversary of the imposition of martial law in Poland. This was a frightening time when the military arrested ordinary civilians in the middle of the night, many of whom were never seen again. The descending pedestrians represent the missing, and after 2 years of military oppression, martial law was finally lifted and ordinary citizens rose out of the earth on the other side of the street. Today, democratic Poland is a very different place than it was in the 80s. But it's certain that these sculptures are still a very painful reminder for many Polish people. Number 4. Hamburg's inner Alster lake has a new inhabitant, and it's not your typical duck or fish. A giant sculpture of a woman, called the Bather, can be seen gracefully taking a soak in essentially the world's largest bathtub. She rises 13 feet above the water and appears in a comfortable state of repose, with her knees up and not having a care in the world. What could be more relaxing after a long, hard day of work? All she needs now is a glass of wine, some candles, and perhaps a good book. Created by German sculptor Oliver Voss, the Bather is in reality an advertisement for British beauty products company Soap & Glory to promote the art of bathing. This giant steel and styrofoam sculpture stretches almost 100 feet long and weighs more than 2 tons. Visitors to the lake have been totally awestruck by this aquatic centerpiece, many even renting small paddle boats so they can get a closer glimpse of this very unusual sculpture. But while picture-snapping tourists can't seem to get enough of the giant bathing woman, many locals, including the district mayor, actually saw it as a bit of an eyesore. But those who weren't so fond of the sculpture were happy to learn that the bather was only meant to grace the waters of Inner Alster Lake for a total of 10 days. On August 12th of 2011, the bather was hoisted out of the water by a large crane. The beauty company said that they would have a giant towel ready to dry her off. Good thing too, I'd expect her to be a little pruny after a good 10-day soak. Number 3. The Force of Nature is a series of sculptures by Italian artist Lorenzo Quinn, depicting nature as a woman hurling the planet around in circles. This powerful and furious image is meant to remind us of the power of nature and what Quinn describes as our false sense of security towards it. Consumed by the hustle and bustle of our daily lives, we tend to forget that at any given moment, Mother Nature's wrath could be awakened, bringing with it fury and massive destruction. The sculptures, which have been installed all around the world, are meant to remind us of this harsh reality. The force of nature is also meant to illustrate the balance between the stillness of the world and the force that goes on to maintain that balance. In this case, the hurling wind. Lorenzo Quinn was inspired to create this series after witnessing the destruction brought on by the devastating hurricanes in Thailand, the southern United States, and around the world. Quinn says that his sculpture is reminiscent of the early statues made as peace offerings to the gods in hopes of quenching their anger. He says in essence, people are not very different today from the people who lived thousands of years ago, as we still devote ourselves to symbols in order to escape our destiny. Number 2. In 2016, China unveiled what might be the most epic statue of all time. This is a colossal 190-foot sculpture of ancient Chinese warrior god Guan Yu. He stands on a 33-foot high pedestal designed to look like a warship while holding a giant halberd weapon known as the Green Dragon Crescent Blade. How cool is that? The statue weighs a whopping 1,320 tons and is situated in Jingzhou city in the Hubei province. The giant axe alone weighs 136 tons, and more than 4,000 strips of bronze were affixed to the statue upon completion. The statue is so enormous that there's an 86,000 square foot museum underneath it. This magnificent work of art was designed by artist Han Mei Lin, who was also responsible for designing the 2008 Beijing Olympic mascots. Guan Yu was a general who lived in the 3rd century during the period of the Three Kingdoms in China. He served under warlord Liu Bei and played a significant role in the civil war that led to the collapse of the Han dynasty. He was also a famous character in the historical novel Romance of the Three Kingdoms, which is one of the most well-known works of Chinese literature. Guan Yu was later deified and is still worshipped by many aspects of Confucianism, Taoism, and Chinese Buddhism. Known for his absolute loyalty and righteousness, statues of Guan Yu, big and small, can be found all over China and the rest of the world. You can often see altars worshipping Guan Yu displayed in places like restaurants and retail stores, as business owners believe it will grant them righteous protection from malicious entities. Number 1. Before we get to the number 1 spot in our video, we'd like to take a moment to say thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed watching this video, please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. We'll be uploading new and interesting videos regularly. We hope you enjoy them. You're gonna need to bring your scuba gear to check out our last collection of sculptures because we're going underwater. So put on your wetsuit and grab your goggles, we're diving in. It's a rare case when a collection of sculptures means as much to the surrounding wildlife as it does the humans who came to admire it. Such is the situation with the underwater sculptures by Jason DeCaires Taylor. The sculptures are in clear, shallow waters and can be easily seen by divers, snorkelers, and those in glass-bottom boats. Different collections can be found all over the world, including places like the Bahamas, the Canary Islands, Cancun, Indonesia, and even the UK. These collections are not just a work of art, they actually have a practical, functional aspect. They act as artificial reefs that provide an ideal habitat for filter-feeding organisms. This, in turn, helps to relieve pressure on natural resources. Taylor says, "The figures are arranged in a circular formation as an echo of the circle of life, and they will soon teem with life." Soft coral and sponges should flourish quickly, paving the way for delicate hard corals and a fully established reef. He also notes that 40% of the world's coral reefs have been lost in recent decades and hopes that the piece will remind people of the fragility of the incredible life forms. In 2006, Taylor founded and created the world's first underwater sculpture park off the coast of Grenada in the West Indies. In 2011, National Geographic listed it as one of the top 25 wonders of the world. In 2009, a monumental underwater museum called MUSA was formed in the waters surrounding Cancun. The project consists of over 500 permanent life-size sculptures and is one of the largest and most ambitious underwater art attractions in the world. The museum, aiming to demonstrate the interaction between art and environmental science, forms a complex reef structure for marine life to colonize, inhabit, and increase biomass on a grand scale. Each of the sculptures is made from specialized materials used to promote coral life, with the total installation occupying an area of over 420 square meters of barren seabed and weighing over 200 tons. In 2011, Forbes described MUSA as one of the world's most unique travel destinations.